Alright, I think... Sorry if I took a little bit of time there. It's because we have Lurk D. Which I think, if I recall correctly, if I'm looking at all this list correctly, the last one we had of them was 2521, which is the one that is like a bunch of dots and like symbols, right? That one was amazing. Where you had to like figure out what the SCP was about with like just few like symbols. That was a really fun one. I really enjoyed that one. And I believe that's the most recent one from Lurk D we read, which crazy to think about, that was like 400 SCPs ago. Almost. Alright. Which means now we getting... I have to scroll back down because I have to double check. We're getting Mothman? Like the cryptid? Are we getting a cryptid SCP? It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since we had a cryptid, if I recall correctly. But because like we had a lot of mythological SCPs, but I don't think we had a lot of cryptid in the recent times. We had a bunch of Bigfoots and Yetis. We had those most of the time. No, we had the Chupacabra. The Chupacabra was like probably the... And... Kappa, I don't think they count. I think they're more a mythological being, right? Because they are from ancient Japanese myths. While cryptid is more of like a beast that lives in a country, has nothing to do with the mythology. I would argue. Like, Nessie is not part of the Celtic mythology. Nessie is just like a beast that somebody came up with, and then everybody else is like, yeah, we saw it too. So I would argue that cryptids and mythological beings are not in the same boat. They are their own subculture of mythology, I would say, but not like part of an actual mythological pantheon. At least that's what I would argue. People can agree or disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. All right, here we go. Object class Euclid. I already love this picture. This picture right here. Look at that. Yeah. Even though I love the filter they add on top of it. Like the camera. Like the burnt camera filter almost. The theme for the 1000 counters are urban legends, so I imagine that they were more common on series 2. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Special containment procedures. Because of the extra-dimensional properties... By the way, do not tell me what the theme of a series is in the upcoming series until we reached it, okay? I know you guys won't do that, because I appreciate that you respect my wish not to be spoiled. But once we reach series 4, then you can tell me this is what the theme is. But don't tell me what series 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10's theme is until we get there. I want to keep it like a surprise for myself, so once we add the series, we can be excited together. Object class Euclid, special containment procedures. Because of the extra-dimensional properties related to SB2901, there are currently no methods of physical containment. Case reports involving SB2901 will be remitted to MTF-55 trial letters for further investigation. Civilian sightings of SB2901 will be suppressed using amnestic field application. Media leaks regarding SB2901 will be deleted or discredited by the Information Detraction, Censorship, and Recession Division ID card. I'm just going to call it ID card. Illustration of SB2901 confiscated from Agent Officer Researcher Site 45. Click image to enlarge. Yeah, we already looked at this. It's a beautiful image. It's well done. To be clear, it's not the theme of the whole series, just for the contest entries. Oh yeah, I'm aware, but still, you know, I would like to still keep it like a secret till we get there. Field personnel should avoid SB2901 if at all possible. Those authorized to investigate SB2901 must carry mobile devices capable of short messages services, SMS, in case of sudden acoustic cancellation. If a hostile encounter is unavoidable, personnel should adhere to the following steps. 1. Do not attempt to run. Fleeing may provoke SB2901 to give chase. Please don't run. I don't like the chase. Number 2. Hold your ground. Be sure to make eye contact. Number 3. Make a threat display. Use clothing to imitate an increase in body mass. Well, luckily I got this bad boy right here. This coat. My pen. There we go. Number 4. Continue step 3 until SCP-2901 becomes disinterested and submits. Number 5. Avoid physical contact if all possible, and there's 2 footnotes here. The fluctuation of SCP-2901's mass and physical connection made between the entity and victim will result in intersecting membranous contact. This phenomenon usually results in the removal of the dermal layer along the contact area as SCP-2901 retracts. And the second one here, link a photograph of wounds caused by SCP-2901 warning graphic. Okay, I'm gonna look it up real quick. See if it is pretty bad. Ooh. Oh boy. Okay. It is pretty graphic. You guys want to see it? I mean, of course you guys will also just look it up yourself, to be honest, but... I'm not sure if this is a good idea to show on YouTube. Because I feel like... I mean, I can just blur it. You guys ready? Anybody who's... Okay. It is... There's a lot of, like, flesh missing. Or at least not really flesh, but like skin peeled away and all that stuff. So it is gross looking. I'm gonna give you guys, yeah, absolutely, content warning. In 5 seconds, I'm gonna show an image. There is skin missing. There's like a lot of like red spots. There's a lot of like scabs and scabs peeled off. So in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So yeah. Anybody who's squirmish, this might be a bit much, especially because like you can definitely feel the pain. All right, and now I'm putting it away again. There we go. I don't think you understand what a kink picture is, mechanic, but sure. SCP description: SCP-2901 are a species of nocturnal carnivorous scavengers of limited intelligence, averaging 1.7 meters in height. SCP-2901 usually appears as having an ellipsoid shape and possesses 2 large eyes layered with photophoric tissue. SCP-2901 usually appears as having an ellipsoid. You write that. SCP-2901 are covered in a layer of minute iridescent lamellar scale similar to Lepidopterans. Lepidoptera are a large order of insects that include moths and butterflies. There we go. SCP-2901 are able to move through space-time freely, granting them certain abilities such as levitation, flight, and teleportation. SCP-2901 are, however, tangible and susceptible to conventional firearms. The American way. SCP-2901 are also able to emit an acoustic cancellation effect within a radius of approximately 25 meters. The purpose or function of this ability is not wholly understood, but is theorized to aid in stealth. That this SCP is for you, hold your ground, make a threat display. That was the worst thing you could have said about that image. Yeah, honestly, it is kind of the worst thing to like look at an injury and be like, oh, what a kink. Like yeah. It's Mothman! As several methods of containment and or deterrence are still being considered. However, because of the elusiveness of SCP-2901, a large majority of the general public are aware of related incidents and possibly even the existence of SCP-2901. Countermeasures are in place as a temporary solution for protecting information on SCP-2901. Level 2 access required. Here we go. ID card. Information, distraction, censorship, and rescission division. ID card at SCP Foundation Internet external 7502, fax 7503. Operation Surgeon's Photograph. Priority Dale. Internal use only. Preamble. Due to the uncontainable nature and general notoriety of SCP-2901, certain protocols must be established in order to quell civilian suspicion as to the existence of these entities. The following is an outline of operation. Surgeon's photograph that should be reviewed by your respective teams. Counterintelligence. Due to the nature of operation, Surgeon's photograph information regarding SCP-2901 does not require additional safeguards against espionage. Information about SCP-2901 will remain accessible on the Foundation main list database. Standard protocols for sensitive information access clearance and storage still apply. Identification of sensitive material. Utilizing the automated virtual agents already in place, certain keywords related to SCP-2901 will be routinely searched and red flagged on the daily reports. Pages will be reviewed by selected teams as they are discovered and remitted to the tactical planning team to determine the severity and next course of action. I just gave this SCP its 300th upload. Hey! Nice. Nicely done. Awesome. I can already tell it's going to deserve it. It's going to deserve it for sure. Especially because it's Lurk D really has like is like one of those authors that I feel like should be propped up a little bit more. Like we have like our big boy alphas like DJ Cactus and Hippo. But I think Lurk D deserves some love as well. This information campaign, the tactical planning team will review suspected files/pages and make decisions and recommendations regarding pertinent threats. Dozens of online dummy accounts for media sharing websites are to be created and managed by ID Card's special cyberspace unit. Using these dummy accounts, content regarding the presence and/or qualification of SCP-2901 will be made widely available. This to saturate any shared leaked footage or images with fabricated disinformation content. What if that's going on right now, huh? What if the Mothman is real and we have all these dummy accounts trying to lead us astray? Content will be developed and published in a variety of mediums related to SCP-2901, including fictional stories, doctored photographic images, visual semi-realistic art, falsified eyewitness interviews, and merchandise. Foundation Front Company Studio City Production, haha, SCP. I love how sometimes it is SCP and sometimes it isn't. Will be contracted to create several low-budget documentaries involving SCP-2901, while including other well-known cryptids from folklore. This will further aid in convincing the general public that the existence of SCP-2901 is highly questionable and in all likelihood impossible to validate. We only have one more article of them left. Yeah, I saw them. It's like one of the series 4 if I from what I saw. Which is, yeah, we'll get there. Required deletions. Any source material of SCP-2901 deemed too sensitive to be accessible to civilians will also be addressed by the Special Cyberspace Unit. Standard protocols for denial of service (DOS) operation will be carried out to isolate the source. After the source is isolated, efforts will be made to erase the original content, and information regarding the original poster of the material will then be handed over to MTF-55 Trilators for further investigation. In all cases, services will be restored once the material has been erased. Any DOS operations in excess of 24 hours will need to be reported to the Department of External Affairs. So it's exactly one that's yeah. We'll get there. Eventually. Cessation of operation. Operation Surgeon's Photograph will continue until a viable method of containment or deterrent for SCP-2901 is in place. Virtual agents will continue to search for keywords related to SCP-2901. These will be included on the month-end report to be reconciled at the end of the quarter. Content made during Operation Surgeon's Photograph will remain accessible. The first official documented incursion of SCP-2901 was near the town of WV, USA in 19, followed by the collapse of Redacted. Since then, continuing field observations have concluded that SCP-2901 are an aggressively territorial and solitary species. SCP-2901 normally do not engage or reveal themselves openly to humans and will often retreat or vanish if discovered. No, come back. Further observations suggest that SCP-2901 are able to approximate the time and location of future disasters with a certain degree of accuracy, particularly those resulting in multiple fatalities. Ooh, fuck. This precognitive ability is believed to function as a physiological sense comparable to scent. Data varies, however, on the number of SCP-2901 within a given area. That symbol in the power of N versus the total fatalities after the disaster event occurs. Those symbols. False positive incursions, though, have also been observed. This is supported by accounts and reports showing a sudden presence of SCP-2901 within the vicinity of the disaster area, usually within a month or week before it occurs. So the Mothman are just massive interwars. Or, you know, just very animalistic that they don't want to be around humans. And to be fair, maybe the Mothman also witnessed what Usky did to the tribes, you know? And was like, I saw what you did with one of the tribes here in the US. We ain't risking it. We ain't staying around. we ain't staying around knowing that you guys did that one time. During this period, many SCP-2901 will claim rights to the area resulting... I mean, like, the shapeshifters, come on. And Mothman, they must be in contact. They must be talking like, hey man, listen. Those motherfuckers, they did some shit to our tribes, man. If you see a human being, don't stick around. Run. During this period, many SCP-2901 will claim rights to the area resulting in altercations with other SCP-2901. Sometimes including human bystanders being mistaken as threats. During these aggressive territorial behaviors, SCP-2901 are able to change their physical shape into a large nebulous-like body as a threat display. Ooh. The interview. Please chill out. After the disaster event occurs, the remaining SCP-2901 will take part in feeding off the deceased in a frenzy-like behavior until the food source is depleted, vacating once saturated. What is the sentence again that, like, you should never tell your woman? Like, they're like you over, like, no, is it like you're overreacting? That's the sentence. That's the statement you should, in general, don't even say that to anybody who's like who's like, you know, feelings anything about things, and you're like, you're overreacting, calm down. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Like, so we killed a couple of your tribes, a couple hundred people from your tribe. You're overreacting. Come on now. And those shapeshifters went to the Mothman and was like, you have to deal with that bullshit if you meet with them. Level 4 access required. Another one. Okay, ID card information, detraction, censorship, and rescission division. Same thing here, looks like. I still remember the interview. I love how you probably didn't mean it like that, but I remember like the way I read it is like almost like a fucking Nom flashback. I still remember that interview like it was yesterday. Confidential priority Gimel. Directive. Operation Surgeon's photograph is to be considered the special containment procedures for SCP-2901 and is to operate under the guise of an active public disinformation campaign. MTF-55 will be responsible for its continuation and level of effectivity in maintaining acceptable levels of public awareness and conception. As a point of clarification, the purpose of Operation Surgeon's photograph is not to protect information on SCP-2901, but rather control information on SCP-2901. You remember that person who showed up and never again? The logo on the top right is pretty cool. Oh, yeah. That's pretty nice. It's pretty neat. Summary. SCP-2901. SCP-2901's current evolution is the sum of Foundation efforts in manipulating its existence through public perception. SCP-2901 are a group of extra-dimensional entities that lack a stable, cohesive form and purpose that only coalesces through continued observational reconciliation. For SCP-2901 to maintain a stable physical mass, approximately 75% of the nearby human populace within 500 km need to be congruent on a singular concept of what SCP-2901 is and what it does. SCP-2901 were first discovered and categorized as highly unstable Keter-class entities capable of producing localized CK-class scenarios at random. Further research into SCP-2901's unstable manifestation proved to be futile as, unbeknownst to Foundation scientists at the time, SCP-2901 would involuntarily change during each subsequent observation. During a containment breach into the civilian populated areas within the Appalachian, is it Appalachian or Appalachian? I think it's Appalachian, right? Region of the southern United States. SCP-2901 began gradually condensing into a singular manifestation the more it was exposed to humans. Civilians began conceding to the idea that SCP-2901 was a dark-winged like humanoid with large red eyes, which corresponded to pre-existing local folklore. SCP-2901 also began to evolve predatory-like behaviors and anomalous acoustic effects that conceptualized due to the mass fear generated within the surrounding communities. Foundation researchers recognized the effects and began isolating SCP-2901 as much as possible. However, deprived of regular perceptual input, SCP-2901 began to devolve into its initial highly unstable manifestations once again. The decision was made to maintain SCP-2901 in a functioning, manageable state through continued exposure to human perceptual belief that SCP-2901 is a tangible creature of local folklore, another Bigfoot or Loch Ness monster. And I'm pretty sure these are the... Yep. I remember Bigfoot being the first 1000, and that... Okay, that's in the far future. Well, far. Compared to the series, anything beyond that is of course very far. But yeah, it's like a year and a half maybe. Who knows? The nearby Silver Bridge collapse of 1967 and the SCP-2901 Appalachian incursion in reality have no connection with one another. However, public opinion strongly disagreed, and henceforth SCP-2901 began to appear at other future disaster events. By the way, I gotta say, this word, as somebody who spoke German first and English second, even though English is now more the language I communicate with in general, this still fucks me over. Because, again, A in German is R. So seeing all these R's in one word makes me really want to say Appalachian. This was the precursor of the precognitive scavenging animal-like behavior as observed today. Efforts are to continue gradually introducing notions developed by the Foundation as to further SCP-2901's evolution into a more docile and manageable concept. Internal counterintelligence. Only Foundation personnel with Level 4 clearance are permitted to view this document. For all intents and purposes, all other personnel are to be included in actively contributing to SCP-2901's perceptual evolution. It is pertinent that this document be limited to no more than 50 persons, including the O5 Council. This was cool. Always nice to have a cryptid SCP here and then again, right guys? I wish I could befriend SCP-2901 and tell Mothman that I come in peace. Mothman's like, you're one of us. So we're like, you came with us to this world. What are you trying to do? Why are you trying to befriend us? We already knew each other from... I'm your childhood friend, mechanic. Exactly, Casabon, yeah. It's not really, it's basically more like a cloud that takes the form of whatever like people think it is, and keeping it to like a... It's kind of funny how like the Foundation's like, well, I guess we just have to pretend it's a cryptid, which I'm like, that's not very helpful, right? Like, why not just make it into like a inanimate object? Just like oh, chair. Well, I guess it doesn't work that way. I guess Mothman doesn't allow himself to become inanimate object. But it would, I would just say, like, if I was a Foundation, I'd be like, why don't we make it into like an actual animal that like exists in those like pods? Why did we transform it into a cryptid? But probably by now it's anyway too late to change it, because like so many people believe in the Mothman, so they'd rather just go be like, okay, we just have to have a whole group of people try to debunk a cryptid that doesn't exist but does exist because it's an anomaly. But yeah, it was just nice seeing the name Mothman, and also seeing Bigfoot and Nessie as a name being mentioned again. It does a body good. It does a body good.